When Gigi called me, I was surprised. 5 years ago, a trip to Cuba resulted in her rape. She returned fractured, feeling foolish for believing a tour guide that asked her to help him load his car. She was suspicious, but his wife was not far, walking ahead of them. But when they got to the car, the wife was gone. That was the worst part. Was she not supposed to know that the most banal situation was not to be trusted? The rape spiraled into 5 years of bodily uproar that would often sink her into high-functioning depressions. At best, she could work, but a social life was unfathomable because now she had stomach issues, bouts of hair loss, hip pain, anxiety, and insomnia. "I am a frickin' Taurus," she declared as I sat over her bed. She was in fetal position, too weak to get up after 2 days of no sleep. The yo-yo of her long-distance relationship with a man I called the loser had crippled her again. When she did not want him, he crawled to get her attention back. Once gotten, he reveled in seeing her crawl as he withdrew. My problem was part of their bond was this mutual essay history. He suffering the horror of such an act at age 9 from a teenage camp counselor. Yet it is why I warn people about trauma bonding. Just because you were defined by the same pain does not mean you share the same definition of love. I just hate my frickin' body. I hate that it freezes like this. I hate that it hurts and no one can tell me why. And I'm okay. My heart is ready. My mind is ready to move on, but my body won't follow me anymore. She cried in genuine frustration. It was a truth I understood. When I cut off my father for good, I told my mother, "You either cut him off too, or I cut you off." Every time I got rid of him, it was her whom insisted I keep my dad around out of the Latino loyalty clause. You stick by blood even if it makes you bleed. My father spent years following my mother and leaving her love letters, of which his other wife followed suit by stalking her as well and leaving little voodoo trinkets by our home. I would see them from the window, each oblivious or acting as such to my peering eyes. My father was only focused on seeing my mom, and his wife was only focused on seeing if they were together. My mother ignored it all because to her a bigger person is a silent one. Yet what I marveled at is I did not matter to either of them. I did not matter because they were too involved in the messiness of their marriage. They were two losers that really thought they had something to gain when they lived in their mind's paranoia. Yet soon that paranoia would reveal itself in me. I always feel like I'm being watched, terrified of an intruder or someone taking pictures of me. As they both hired investigators, which was unnecessary, they were investigating as well. I felt withdrawn from the world because they might see me flounder or succeed in it. My losses and my triumphs felt shared without my consent to one of the messiest couples this world will experience. At least Bonnie and Clyde and Romeo and Juliet died young and in love. They were old, sad, and obsessed with looking like they were in love, but they could care less that a little girl was watching their plots from her window. As Gigi cradled herself in bed, I tried to teach her some somatic moves to awaken her body. I felt so bad because we had both reached a point of bodily involuntary remembrance. We somehow could not shake, even if for different reasons or degrees, the twitches and neurotic stares that came from us at feeling so unsafe in this world that now we were unsafe in our bodies. The worst part is that we swore to ourselves we did not fear our monsters anymore. So why did our bodies still act like they were in the room with us? Okay, so yeah, my dad, when I broke up with my dad, I call it a breakup because when I look back at one of the hardest things that's happening to me with daddy recovery is that I'm getting angrier, or at least I'm allowing myself to be angry, and it's really hitting me like, oh my God, my dad was evil, like a really bad human being, atrocious. And his wife followed suit. And the problem was, I really did want to have a family. I wanted siblings. I wanted cousins. I didn't understand why they didn't want me or why they said they did, but did every other action that showed they didn't. And my father's wife was notoriously mean. But my father did this weird thing of kind of, I'm going to act like I'm the nice guy, even though I launch her, or I launch horrible attacks on everybody's life, because he really was a messy, messy, mean man. And that's why I always felt a little bit of grace for his other wife, oddly, even though she was doing voodoo and stalking us. I felt grace because my father liked people to fight for him. He enjoyed when people would cry for him or cry because he was mean to them, and then he would hug them. Like he liked the dynamic of destroying somebody, seeing them cry, and then comforting them. And it's so weird when your abuser comforts you, because one of the things I talk about a lot in Daddy Recovery, I make sure people know my dad was not physically abusive. If anything, that was his like tool. He would make me cry, verbally assault me, and then hug me. And it was so weird because I would go back home and my mother was not complimentary. She was very strict. She was not touchy-feely. So it was this very strange dynamic of I'm receiving, the only person who's really giving me a hug in my life is doing it after absolutely decimating me. And you tell yourself, I've moved on. I'm over this, especially mentally or emotionally, because I'm so ready to experience good. And that's where Gigi really, her story touched me. And one part that I didn't put was I said something to her that triggered me to do Daddy Recovery and really invest in it. And it was like, you weren't stupid. They were evil. And when I said that, I remembered this incident, and it was years of stalking. And my dad, I would read the love letters and then I would burn them because they were all about how much he loved my mom, how she was the most beautiful woman inside and out, how she inspired him, how she saved him, that she's the reason he keeps going. And there was no mention of me. And I thought, my God, to these people, I'm either not a child or I don't exist, because I would watch and it was like, I don't know if they noticed I saw them or they just didn't care, but I was shocked because it was so uncomfortable and evil and scandalous. And it's crazy because I have this unwarranted fear of being stalked and of being watched and of being followed. And it really does come from that. And I try to tell myself it was my mother who was going through that, because she's absolutely indifferent. And my mother defines strength by, just don't talk about it. Ignore it, move on, move forward. But I don't work like that. I think I stay in the memory until I'm emotionally, mentally ready enough to release it. And I get there, but I think the problem is the body remembers, and there is a book. I think The Body Keeps Score or The Body Keeps Count. Don't read that book. Every person, unfortunately, I have a few friends that have been SA'd and they've tried to read that book. And they were like, don't. It re-traumatizes you because it kind of makes it feel like your body is the one thing that won't let go, or it's kind of like your enemy of remembrance. And they've been through horrible things. I have a friend who was hit by a bus. When you are physically torn, it's so weird. It's so weird. Unfortunately, I've had my own incidents of being physically wounded. And I will say it's very strange to have your body not be yours, to have it and not be yours for a while. And I think that was bothering her. Like, she wanted to sleep, her body didn't. She, where were these back pains, these hip pains coming from? Why did she have pain in her chest? Like, come on. And it sucks. It sucks because I don't know if it's that I haven't let go or my body hasn't, and I say that because I'm so ready to heal, and so is she. And I don't get it. And maybe there's a psychologist who can answer. I don't understand. because when your body starts twitching, like sometimes I'll get these little twitches and I'll be like, oh my God, somebody's following me. No one's following me. That's paranoia. They're gone. Those people are gone. Your monsters are gone. But it's this feeling of, it's so involuntary. I'm really trying, I'm failing at words, because my challenge is it that I haven't fully healed like I say I have, or I just have to accept that my body will heal differently from my mind and my heart. My body has to go through these things, and just because it triggers doesn't mean I have to launch. That's the journey I think we're all in, and that's why, I do things like Reiki and meditation, and I try to really calm down and kind of tell my mind, hey, it's okay, you're safe, and it's okay that they didn't care about you. You care about you, So I really hope this helps somebody. And check out daddyrecovery.com to read all about it. And check out Deandra, my songs, all about my daddy issues on all platforms. I'm really grateful that you're listening.